little mix and match.
Well, I've been so excited about this because one, I've been following you. I'm a huge fan. You are such an influencer. You are doing amazing things, and we're celebrating Black History Month. And of course, we got to celebrate you. Pew, 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 pew. So, all right, you got to do the horns. So, like, one, I would love for you to do a quick introduction about you and, like, sort of like how you got started into your wine journey.
Okay, so obviously I'm a wine influencer slash teacher slash drinker. I'm just a little bit. I'm just a wine guy in general. I got into wine from by accident. Really, it was accidental. Yeah, because obviously when you're growing up, you're in university, you drink wine, but it's not wine. You're drinking like all the cheap wine because it's cheap and you can drink it before you go out. So like the Blossom Hills and what else is there? Let's just speak about the Blossom Hills because I remember like the White Zinfandel and the Grenache and the rest of them ones that are just really sweet. But when I got older, kind of bit away from wine. Like I was more of a spirit drinker and stuff. But I was a train driver, and after I had an issue with the company, so they tried to. They had their little thing. I basically won my case with the company, but I needed the job in the meantime. So there's a company here called Majestic Wines. So basically, they're like one of the major wine stores that you'd find based in the UK. And I just thought, I'm just going to work there for maybe about 6 months until I get myself back on my feet. And then end up staying there for two and a half years. So I started off thinking 6 months, end up staying for 2.5 years. So like just fell in love with wine. Like obviously I didn't know a thing, nothing, just a guy, just I'm just here. But then like little by little you pick up bits and bobs, and then you go and do your WSET because like it's a part of the whole Majestic thing, and then like you just keep going and you keep going. And I left Majestic because they don't pay very well. So yeah, it was like they're good company when you're learning and you're getting into wine and stuff, but they don't pay the best. So I came out, but my love for wine stayed. So it's more of a thing of now I'm like one of my only friends that are very that are well versed in the world of wine. So I'll have guys calling me up when they're on dates saying, "Oh Manny, like she's gone to the toilet. Quick, tell me what to get. Tell me what to get." We were at I'll say, "Where are you? Like what kind of restaurant you at?" I'm like, "Oh, we're in like Gauchos, which is like an Argentinian." So then obviously then you did standard Malbecs, Cabernet Sauvignons, Chilean, even some American heavy reds that you might get. Obviously you're gonna have that with your steak and stuff. So it's the kind of thing that happened, and lockdown was a big thing because then a lot of people were drinking more. So a lot of people came to me and will ask me because they knew that I knew wine. So they were like, "Oh, I've drank all my spirits. Wine is cheaper. I'm gonna go and buy all this wine. Manny, tell me what I need to get." And he kind of just kept going and kept going. And I thought, you know what? I might as well start something. So that's what happened. So Manny Does Wine was kind of born towards the end of lockdown. And then I just kept going with it. So yeah, I'm here.
Well, and I see like there's a whole bunch of comments happening right now. Like people are loving your story. Like I see the Cellar Geek. She's like, you are helping your bros with their dating game. Like that's sort of like how
Cellar Geek is like that's my virgin right there. The Cellar Geek. She's been riding from early. So yeah.
Yeah, she's super dope. So like you really just are like the community friend as well. So like not only professionally, but personally, you really sort of like brought your friends into the space, because I think like a lot of people, like you said, like we go all the way to school, college, they're like, all right, well, we got $30 until next week. and it's been a hard week.
Yeah.
So what are we drinking? And you don't want vodka, you don't want rum. You're like, let's get some wine because that ABV. We can, we can get there. We can get there.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys were doing. And then you were like, wait a minute, this is a calling on your life. You were blessed into it.
It's crazy. It really is crazy how it was not something I ever thought about. Even after I left Majestic, I kind of was like, okay, cool. Let me go and do my career and try and get myself sorted. But the wine thing just kept coming back. It's like a constant reminder, hey, Manny, help me out here. Hey. And then I also realized, especially in the UK, I realized in America, you guys embrace wine a lot better. In the UK, it's people drink wine, but it's like, okay, we drink wine at home and we'll drink it in our house after a hard day's work, and I won't talk about it again. It's very much like that. Or as black people, we'll go out and it's more, Ray and nephew, give me that, or give me a rum and coke, give me a Courvoisier, give me a Hennessy. So even when I told my friends that this is what I'm doing, originally they're like, nah, we don't do that, bro. We're on the hard spirits and liquor. This is a bit, it's not what we do. But when you make people realize that, okay, when you're in the club and you're popping champagne, what do you think you're doing? They're like, what? Champagne is wine? Yes. It's like, oh, okay, so can you show me another type of champagne that I like? Okay, here's so many options. It's not just Moet, or it's not just Veuve Clicquot that there's Laurent Perrier, there's Taittinger, there's Bollinger, there's one of my personal favorites, Ruinart. You see, we Ruinart. I tell people about that, and people don't seem to. I'm like, Ruinart was one of the first, if not the first, and them guys are serious guys, so you can't sleep on the Ruinart. That's my personal favorite. Anyway.
I think people don't know how to pronounce it. That's what it is.
Yeah, there we go. You see, so but I think after a while, people are gonna catch on. You will slowly start growing, you'll start to get more, especially in the UK. I know you guys, I've been speaking to a lot of people in the US who seem to really be I have my own brand. I'm really pushing this, I'm pushing that, a rosé, a Moscato. I'm like, wow, okay. Over here, we're a bit slower. We're not really on the same. You don't find loads of people who have their own brand of wine or spirit, even spirit. But there's a couple, but it's not. It seems like there's loads. America's really doing bits. I think I'm trying to catch up.
It's interesting because, all right, without spilling too much tea about myself, the last time I was in the UK, I lost my life. And I don't remember where I lost it. It was on the street of London, and I don't know because the way you guys approve alcohol is quite different than the US. And I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't know what this drink was, but it was amazing. It was delicious. And then the next thing you know, it was Saturday morning, and I'm like,
yeah, you didn't know where you were. You was like, oh shit, hey, where am I? Yeah, that's standard stuff.
What happened to All Friday? But you're saying that you guys are behind, and I'm like, everyone that I know who goes to the UK, I think we all think you guys are ahead of us.
In alcohol?
I think in spirit, I think in wine too. I think in wine culture, it feels that way. Because also too, I mean, there are so many different, I think, connections directly to Italy and to France and Spain, directly, that you guys are getting, I mean, Pinotage, right? I feel like that's a wine that you guys discovered, even though it's from South Africa. It probably hit the UK before it hit us. I think we are just now coming into Pinotage. I just had my first sip a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what is this? I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's I think again, because we're so close to Europe, and obviously old world wines are very much like on European. So everything European is basically old world. So we have access to like Spain, France. So France is like what? Before we can get trained to France in 45 minutes. Like if we really want to get down there, Paris is on a Eurostar. I think it's 45 hour. Maybe sorry, maybe I'm gassing a bit, but it's about an hour.
What part of the UK are you in?
I'm in London.
I mean,
So,
come on. You
yeah,
are
I have like
in the
I have that
mecca
typical
of
London accent. So for me, like I grew up in southeast London. So like they might say like for you guys that'd be good. So
I was like,
yeah, I don't have that.
That sounds like south, like what it would be in the US.
Yeah. So for my accent, yeah, it might have that Englishness, but for English people, it's not the typical "Hello, hi, how you doing?" It's not like that. It's more, it has that little extra something. But with Southeast London, it's still easy to get to a station to get across the water.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
it's
I will say your accent. I feel like I'm like it gives me Idris Elba. Like you're like, what was the show that he was the detective?
Oh, you're talking about Lufa.
Yes. Okay. You're giving me his accent then.
Yeah, Lufa. Yeah. But the thing is, Idris is Ghanaian and so am I. So it has that thing there, isn't it? But yeah, but he's originally, I think Idris is from North London originally.
Okay.
And that's like the other side of the river from me. So we are kind of different. It's weird because when you get to London and you actually learn the bits and bobs, every little section has its own different way of being. And so like I'm southeast, southwest London guys have a different way of being. North London, northwest London, east and west. Everyone has their own little something.
Got it. Okay. So with that, is there like sort of like this, like in the US, many, Black people of color, we don't grow up going to vineyards unless like you're, sort of like coming from that culture, right? But many of us, it's not till you go to college or your roommate or you start, a job professionally that you start drinking wine.
Yeah.
Is it the same feeling in Europe for many minorities in their experiences with wine?
Okay. So I think with a lot of people, when it comes to wine, is you either have a friend that's in wine and kind of introduces you into it, or you go to work in the city. So when you're doing like an office job and they have their little lunch breaks, or they might have a little Christmas do or whatever, a lot of the time they will have like little wine things, and a lot of people might be like, "Oh, I had this." One I hear often is the Malbec. I had this Malbec and I really like this Malbec, and then they just stick with it because that's all they really know. So they'll just always buy this particular Malbec, not other Malbecs, just this particular one, because a lot of people are scared. And I also realized that because we haven't got the knowledge of wine like that, we'll just stick in that one place. You won't think that, okay, if I had a Malbec and it's from, say, Argentina, maybe should I have a Chilean Carmener or a Cabernet Sauvignon from that same part of the world? Or even, like, I am a big advocate for American wines. Like, you guys, your reds are very big and full body and have a lot. It's like your cars. It seems just like with American, just in general, it's like your muscle. It's like a muscle. Like if America was a person, it would be like a weightlifter, a muscly guy. So your wines are very much the same. Your car, big, loud, and so
Great description of our country. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so like I that's why I like my wines from America, because you guys, your wines are very big, bold, expressive, heavy. Even a Pinot Noir is heavier than a Pinot Noir from France or a Pinot Noir from New Zealand. They're quite light, whereas you're light it still has a bit of body to it. So yeah, it's I don't know. The wine revolution is coming. I think after a while, everyone will slowly get no, get into it. It just takes time.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process. So
Definitely a process.
With that, you do wine education, and so we talked earlier about how like getting started, you're helping out your homeboys. When they going on dates, they texting you. You're like, yo, I need to impress. What I gotta do.
Yeah.
But like, what other types of wine education do you provide? Because I think right now there's so many people who are interested in wine. The pandemic has shown us so much about the space across the world, right? Like we are learning more about different countries, different grapes, and different types and varietals, and there's just so much. And people are like, oh wow, my palate is much wider than I think because we have more time to drink. So like, how are you educating people, or what resources do you provide so people can learn more about wine?
Okay, so I run it's like a regular wine tasting event called Wine and Soul. And I usually go by country. So the first one I did was France, and then I went to the second one was South Africa. I've got one actually on Saturday, this Saturday coming, and that is Portugal. So it's like I bounce from country to country, and with that I take samples of like maybe like 2 whites, 2 reds, or a white, a rosé, 2 reds, and basically just tell people, give people a good understanding or idea of what that country can give you. So it just opens up people's minds to other options and things that they might not necessarily have tried on another day. They'll just be like, oh no, because you can go into a wine store and a lot of people get scared. You see so many wines and you're just like, okay, what do I get? And people tend to go for the label. So by coming to something like Wine and Soul, it gives you a little bit of knowledge on, okay, what you're looking for when you're going to pick up a bottle, or just standard stuff. Because when you start getting too deep into the wine teachings, it veers people off, especially when you're not really a wine person and you start getting deep into appellations and terroir and stuff like that. People are like, okay, cool, you know what? All this is not really what I really wanted to know. But by giving people that base knowledge, it might spark an interest where they can now later on figure out, let me go and figure out what else is involved in this wine. So it's like Wine and Soul, it kind of gives people that. Plus, it's just a nice vibe. Like we play like neo soul, R&B, and it's chilled out. I run it with at a restaurant called the Fly Nigerians. Now they're Nigerian girls who do street food, and their Nigerian street food is crazy. Even me, I'll just go there and just buy food and just, I'm like, yeah, I'll just sit there. And they give me huge portions. So jollof rice with like suya meat, or you can get plantain, you can get like, there's so many different things that's there that you can't help but just keep going back. So after the tasting, people tend to drift in to the restaurant and just go and buy up the food, and then whatever wine is left over, people can try and match, see what it is that they like with the food that they're eating as well. So then they can take away that little bit of knowledge home and use it for another day. So yeah, it's just like a nice vibe, really. So when I realize that people have a nice vibe, they tend to take things in more instead of it being so regimented that they're enjoying themselves and then they remember stuff. So yeah.
No, and it's kind of cool, like how it organically turns into like a pairing as well with Nigerian food.
Yeah.
So like regardless of what country you're doing, like let's say you're doing like Australian wines, like you said, then you are having Nigerian food. It's like you're getting this like unique pairing of Australian wines with Nigerian food, and then next time you're doing like maybe New Zealand or South African or what have you, like American, like that's so unique and so cool. And like the menu, does it continue to change, or is it the same menu every week?
So the first time I did the event, I didn't do it there. I did it somewhere else. And like I've had proposals from other people to be like, okay, maybe you want to do it here and stuff. These girls have just been great. So it's the kind of thing of I kind of keep drifting over there because they were very much like they saw the vision that I had, and they're very much like, look, we want you to do it here. Before anyone else, like, I'm just like, yeah, we want you to do it here. And it was like, okay, you know what? Like, I like the fact that they supported me, so I support them back. Like, there may be sometimes I might do in other locations because where I do it is in South London. And a lot of people who live in North or West or East are like, oh, are you going to do one on this side of the river? And so it's like, oh, okay, maybe I might have to branch out at some point and not just necessarily just do it myself. Because not everyone could travel with that. But yeah,
I mean, you make people come to you. You build it, they'll come. That's what I believe. But you know.
Yeah, I've heard that saying. But I find that a lot of people are lazy, even though yes, they want wine. It's also they are lazy. So I'm more just I just want us to understand wine on this side of the pond anyway. Like wine is such a big topic and something that should really be integrated in people's lives. And it is, even though people don't necessarily understand it or realize it. Like, shall I say, champagne, for example. People drink it all the time and not realize that this is wine. And this is like just a particular area of wine, but it's wine. And, you know, it's in your life and you don't even realize it. Oh, let's celebrate, let's get champagne. Or we're going out, let's grab a Prosecco. Or even Cava, like just the sparklings as a section is vast. Because you've got Loire and you've got, you know, so many different other little areas that do different things. It's actually so interesting. Like I actually really just love wine, and like I just feel like everyone needs to know about it, and it can be definitely an option other than just, oh, there's wine. You know, I've gone to a party. Oh, there's the wine left. Like, drink the wine.
Yeah, no, it's like understand why, and then also like you don't need a celebration for celebratory wine, right? Like every day that you're alive is a celebration. Like I not have champagne because it's Tuesday. Pair it with a taco.
There we go.
Tuesday, pair it.
Yeah, a Tuesday Malbec or a Tuesday Cabernet Sauvignon or a Tuesday Touriga National or Amarone, whatever. You know what I mean? Like what? And I think like most people don't know what they like because they might have had one wine and think all wines are the same. So it's like, okay.
So how do you get people, as you're talking about that, like, right, most people don't know what they like and they haven't tried a lot, right? How do you get people who are like, oh, I just drink Riesling? Like, how do you get them to move from one particular varietal, right, to something else? Like, I know it took me a while. I am not a real drinker when I was first started. I'm lying, I was. But for the purposes of this conversation, like, it took me a while to get out of certain things. And like right now, I'm learning more about reds. So like, it's different, right? I'm learning which type of reds I do like, but like it's taking me a while to step into the red world. So how do you get people who are stubborn like me to come into tasting new reds?
So usually it's like, for example, if I use wine and salt, for example, like my event, a lot of people will come because it's just a nice vibe. So it might not necessarily be the wine, just I need something to do on this day. And I've had a wine before. I just don't like all this stuff. Like, I don't know what I like. I just know that I had this one Moscato, which is something that every black person seems to love because everyone loves sugar. So sweet wine seems to be very much like, yeah, I like a Moscato. Okay, let me show you some other stuff. I don't know if I like it. Okay, don't worry. Try this one. You don't like that one? Try this one. And with me, I also do a range. So I'll know that some might have a little bit more residual sugar than others. Or I'll know that what the flavor profile of this one is and the flavor profile of that one. So I'll put two whites that differ, and then I'll put two reads that different, and then I might throw a little curveball in there. And I know at some point one of them someone's gonna like, because everyone has different palettes, but for some reason, like I could be like, I don't like the first one, but the second one was alright. I never really thought about that before. Like, okay, cool. You just have a different palette to this person who might like the first one, and everyone starts to converse about it and talk about it. Like, okay, so what can I have this? Oh, let me try that at home. You know what's the name of that? And before you know it, boom, like now their mind has been opened a little bit more just by giving them a sample. It's like, try this. Like, you want something? Try it. How's that? You like it? No, don't really like that. Okay, try this. Little by little, you know, it's a power suggestion. Like, oh, you know, this might go well with this. Try it. And people do. So, especially when you pay for an event anyway. Like, you pay for an event.
You're here now, so it's like, well, might as well.
So, as you're here, I want to drink something. Like, I think there's like, I saw something like about Denzel Washington when you had like there's a little meme that's going around, or a little reel where it's like, I came here, I'm going to leave with something. I'm going to leave with something. And it's like,
I'm leaving with something.
Like, I'm leaving with something. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Like the best quote ever.
And it's like, it seems as though it's just a black quote, period. Whether in the US, the UK, Africa, Caribbean, wherever, you're leaving with something. So everyone is going to try something because I paid for this. So I want to try as many things that I find as I can. And yeah, it works. It works.
Okay. So you also mentioned it's a vibe, and there's like good music, and everybody's just like, yes. There's all kinds of just people enjoying and having a good time.
Yeah.
Do you curate your events with music as well? And like, do you like think about like pairing it like with music? Because I know like there's some events here we have in the US where Vine of the Brines, they pair music with wine. So I was wondering, do you sort of like curate your event something like that too? It's
to be honest, like with me, it's I don't really mix the wine with the. It's weird because as people, we're soulful people anyway. Like, music will resonate with us just normally, and I find that something like neo soul, hip hop, R&B, it touches your soul. So whilst you're drinking wine and you're listening to certain types of music, it kind of drifts. It kind of put you in a certain type of place where your memories start kicking in. Like, you might hear a song like that you heard in 1999, and then you're drinking this wine, and for some reason a memory kicks in, or the smell of it reminds you of something. And I think wine, it's supposed to touch your soul. It's supposed to make you remember something, or it's supposed to make you bring you closer to a memory or something, and it kicks something in. Like, that's why, like, so many different wines have different smells. So it's like, you smell this, like, that reminds me of something. I can't quite put my finger on it. And then you just think you drift off into a place you were, and then the song might kick in as well, and you're like, yeah, I remember that now. 1999, Pop Daddy and the Family. I was like, it reminded me of something like that, you know what I mean? Because I remember where I was in 99, and like my first concert.
Wait, you want to talk about it? Where were you in 99?
99, I was listening to Black Rob. That was my year. Like, I was listening to Black Rob. I went to my first concert, which was the Puff Daddy and the Family tour. Mace, Puffy, Lil Kim, Cisco was there. And this is London, so it's different. It's not you guys, you get this regularly. We didn't get that like that. So, like, I remember when it came, and I was very big into hip hop. Like, even till now, I'm still into it. Like, that's my thing. And from school, everyone knew I used to try and rap and try to do the thing and try to do my little something. Yeah, like, when you're in London, you ever do a thing called grime, which is our version. Like, I think now it's what the kids listen to? Because I'm saying the kids because I'm trying to show my age.
You see my face? I was like, wait, I'm not gonna tell my age. That's all.
That's it. The kids listen to drill now.
Oh,
But
that's very Chicago. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, but in London, it's very big. Like amongst like the young people, that's like drill is their thing. Whereas a step above that is a thing called grime and garage, which is what we used to listen to back there. Like a couple of the artists are like Skepta and Chipmunk, and a lot of them have come across to your side and done songs with Chris Brown, and you don't know the thing. It's okay. But
Now I show my age.
yeah, but yeah, rap has always been there, and so like it's very much like I don't know. I wanted to incorporate that into what we do here, but not everyone is a big rap fan. So it's more when it comes to neo soul, it kind of jumps across everybody. Everybody listens to something. Everyone listens to an Angie Stone, or an India Irie, or one of their songs touches you somehow. So I'll play that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go there. If you had to pair a song and a wine from '99, what would it be?
From '99.
Because that's your year.
See, you just put me on the spot. Like, it's crazy.
I mean,
all right.
That was your year. That was your heyday.
Well, you know what? Because like we are in America, we're gonna go to obviously American rappers. Yeah, I would say, you got me out here, man. You got me.
Just go for it.
Well, I'll say say Nas. I'll say Nas,
right.
Just due to his rapping style, would remind me of a Shiraz, an Australian Shiraz. Has a bit of spiciness, it's full-bodied, and it's just like has a good level. Like you're getting what you want to get from a Shiraz. Like most Shirazes have the same thing, like American Shiraz, Australian Shiraz. It gives you the same spiciness. If I'm picking up the Shiraz, I'm picking up spice. You know what I mean? Even if it's a syrup, even if they want to call it Syrah and they go to like Rome or whatever, it has that spiciness still, and so you know what you're gonna get. So I'll call Nas a Shiraz.
Which version of Nas? Because 99 Nas, there's a lot of Nas.
That's why I think 99 Nas, because he was spicy then. When we're looking at like, yeah, okay, when we're looking at all right, so when we're looking at albums like I Am, Nostradamus, more like when the songs like When I Rule the World and then all that, You Can Hate Me Now, these kind of songs, like you knew you getting Nas was good. Nas is still good. It's always been good. Even Ether.
Like,
you know what? I will pair Shiraz with Ether.
It was conscious Nas, not Nas Strip Club.
Yeah, not Strip Club Nas. Not like not Nas Arcade.
Not Shimali Nas, but conscious.
I would say a Shiraz is like Nas, You Can Hate Me Now. So You Can Hate Me Now with a Shiraz. Those two.
Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
You gotta be specific about listen, like if you're gonna do it. Cause like
no, like you put me on the spot, so now I'm just like, yeah, I had to really think about that one. But I started speaking to a guy called Jermaine Stone.
Yes,
I think he
does. Hip hop sommelier.
Yeah, him. So he'd be like, obviously he's the wine and hip hop dude. Like he could do that in a second. Like I'll even feel embarrassed. I hope you don't see this. Like I'm just there. Like
I can't do that. I'm more like I just listen to music. I don't know. I am not any. Just for the record, I am no licensed, certified anything in wine. I just like to drink and talk.
That's it. That's E. That's a drink and talk. So do I. Well, I like to drink.
See, and I like to learn, and I want others to learn too. So That's why we're here at the podcast. We want to make sure that we're connecting to great people like yourself to ensure that we're amplifying the amazing things that you all are doing and creating a platform so that other people can hear, right? So that's what we're here for. And I'm just here to drink along the way with you.
So what are
What's
you
up with
drinking?
that?
What are you drinking?
Exactly. Okay,
No,
so I know
no, I'm saying,
time.
what are you drinking now?
What
Like,
am I drinking? Wow.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I'm glad you asked because I was about to ask you what you're drinking. So I have H3, which is Horse Heaven Hills, a 2020 rosé, of course, that I'm drinking, and it's from Washington State. So this is what I have today. It is delicious. As you see, drinking a lot. So.
Yes.
And what are you sampling today?
Okay, so because I've got my event on the weekend, I started talking to this company called Quinta de Pedra Alta. So they are a Portuguese brand. So that's it might be backwards because yeah. So
we get it. We get it.
yeah. But so it's basically a blend of Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca, Tinta Barroca, and I think it's So Sour or So Sour. Yeah, I think that's the name of the grape. They're all indigenous grapes to Portugal. So it's not the typical Cabernet Sauvignon or Shiraz, Zinfandel, the rest of those. Like with Portugal, they actually they have their own grapes that they use. Like they might throw a Shiraz in there, syrup, and they might throw that in there as a blend. And a lot of the wines do have a lot of blends that they do, but it's all indigenous to Portugal. So and obviously I've got the wine and soul that I'm doing on the weekend, which is Portugal. So I just started getting more into the Portuguese wines for the moment. But yeah.
Okay, so Portuguese wine, we're here for it. We support our indigenous populations as well. Love Portugal, and these grapes are only indigenous to Portugal. You're saying?
Yeah, but you might find it Touriga Nacional actually in maybe is it Chile or Argentina? Like that's a grape that they've started moving around. So it's Touriga Nacional would be like when you hear it, you know it's from Portugal. But I know they're growing it in, I think it's actually Argentina, because a brand called Vanalba, they do Touriga Nacional as a grape variety for their wine, and they are based in Argentina. So yeah, I think it's starting to move over. Like some other countries are taking certain grapes and growing them there. Like South Africa are growing Nero di Mola, which is an Sicilian grape, but South Africa is the only place that are growing this grape as well. So they're starting to take certain grapes that are indigenous to certain areas and moving them about. So,
Okay. Now, I know we're almost coming to time, so I have a couple more questions for you. One being, you are a WSET, right? So you are certified into this whole wine world. What was that process like for you? A lot of people say that, like, oh my God, it was so daunting, it was aggressive. Some people are like, oh my God, it was the most fun experience I ever had in my life. I like to hear like people like what they experienced when they went through that process.
For me, I was working in Majestic, so I was drinking wine every day. So for me, it wasn't like
you were just drinking every day. Yeah. You were just out here.
I'm just drinking with customers. Like people come in and, hey, can you go to the tasting counter? Yeah, basically that's basically what it was. It was like people, like we have a tasting counter. Yeah, because you always say, oh, come to the tasting counter. So people are like, oh yes, I don't mind if I do. And you're just pouring in, discussing, talking. And so by doing that, you also come across a lot of people who know about wine. So you're not having conversations and full chats. So by doing that, you take in a lot of stuff. And I know when I did WSET, it's changed. Like it's not necessarily the same format, because mine was like a few years ago, but
And
it was the
you say a
wine and
few, is it more than two?
more than two. It's more than two.
Okay.
So yeah, because it was like when you took the exam, it was like wine and spirits. But now it's just very focused on the wine part, and spirits is another section. It's what I've learned from a couple of people I know who've just taken it. So it's like, okay, you know, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I drank a lot of wine, a lot of wine. Like I was going home from work every day drunk. Not drunk, tipsy. I shouldn't say drunk. I was tipsy.
You were spicy.
That's it. Spicy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Spicy.
Yeah, you're spicy. Okay. And you were able to learn the education in the process of getting spiced so that you were able to excel in your certification. So it was a learning process.
Yeah.
And you were using practical applications in getting the knowledge so that you would excel in your testing.
Yeah. There we go. That sounds great. Like you said it better than I would have said it anyway. So
that's what I'm here for. I'm here to articulate things that I'm picking up from people.
Yeah.
And I love it. So what would you say would be the hardest thing for someone who like maybe wants to become a WSET, right? Like what is the one thing you'll say, like this is the hardest thing and this is the hurdle that you should do in order to overcome it?
I think it's the studying hours, because I feel like there's so, depending on what level you want to do. Obviously, like level 1, it's quite simple. 2, you're starting to get in. 3, okay, now you're in deep water here. So depending on which level, it's the hours and remembering stuff. So you have to really learn and figure out what your learning style is, because there's so much to learn. There's like countries, regions, great varieties. And then obviously when you start going to things like Germany, when they start having weird names for grapes, and then you're trying to remember all those, you know, even like a standard easy one, Gewürztraminer. Like, okay, cool, boom, like you can get that.
Wait, did you say that's the standard easy one?
Yeah, that's the easier one. Because when you start looking at the other ones they have there, you're like, okay, you know what? I might even Gewürztraminer.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue on.
But the thing is, it's easy to say that because there's loads of them around. Well, more on this side of the world, and not so. I don't really know too much about how Americans' wine trade is, but here, because we're so close to Europe, we get a lot of different ones in here. But that's an easier one. Germany has some really hard words, like named grapes that you might find very difficult just to pronounce. So, you know, that's just Germany. Austria has their own as well. And then remembering all the Spanish ones and the Portuguese ones and the Italian, that's a whole other kind of fish. So it's just that. But obviously, the more you spend your time immersing yourself in the world of wine, the more it becomes easy. So it's like, oh, I've heard of that grape before. Well, I know what that tastes like. And, you know, tasting, drinking, talking, studying, yeah, you get there for anyone.
And go to more wine bars and tasting so you can talk with people and get spicy, and you're able to then continue to use the lingo, is what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't meet people. Talk.
Keep talking. Keep talking to people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And being spicy.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So with you being in the UK, do you feel that like there are barriers to sort of like the wine world, or do you feel like you have the same access as anyone else?
Yeah, wine is a stuffy old man's game with it. Whereas, yes, I'll say things are slowly changing, because I'm coming across a lot of people who are now offering or looking at diversity in the world of wine. Like the younger generation are coming up and they're realizing, okay, we can't keep staying the same way because we're excluding the whole market of people who have spending power. It's when you start rise getting up towards money. When the higher the money goes, the more barriers start appearing. And I've been in rooms where I'm the only black guy, and it's like people are looking at you like, so what are you doing? Or who do you work for? Why are you here? Like, and it's like them kind of things. Or you go to a certain wine station, people move away from there because they're not used to you being there. So there are a couple of barriers that are there, but slowly, little by little, slowly breaking it, and changing the idea around wine.
Well, that's good. Now, with that change, I know that means that you are doing more things, and you have probably some stuff that's upcoming. So, do you want to say anything about any upcoming events? How can people follow you? How can people learn more to connect with you?
Oh, okay. Well, obviously I'll have loads of wine and souls that are coming out. They come out like once every 2 months. So anyone that's, even if you're in America and you're coming over to London and you want to come to a wine event, wine and soul, that's actually on Instagram as well. So just come at if you look at wine and soul, you should find it. Or if you go to my normal page, Manny Does Wine, everything's there. Like, you can find any link to anything that I do. It's usually up on that page. Future-wise, yeah, there's a lot more events. There's a couple of collaborations coming. My own little podcast I'm trying to put together on this side with people who might do music or in the UK entertainment scene. Trying to do a little something. Trying to see if I can work that. Yeah, just I have a couple of ideas that I want to put together, but I don't really want to say everything because I haven't put it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's pen to paper.
We don't want to break it here today, but we will break it here first when you're ready.
Yeah, sure. When I've got things popping, I'm like, yeah, you know what, let me speak to you and they'll tell me, so then obviously you can spread the word amongst the American people. Yeah. And if we will
be your celebrity gossip news for you. We'll put it out
there. There we go. Yeah, if you come to London, come and see me because there's not many guys. So,
actually, I'll be there next month for work. So yes.
Oh, seriously? Okay, then we should look up and have like a lunch and drink some wine and talk.
Wine is what we're going to be doing. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely one.
Okay, so I have one final question for you. Just say you're an influencer. I have no idea what that means. So what does a wine influencer mean to you?
Okay, so basically I just I expose people to wine that they might not necessarily see on a daily basis. So I let people know where they can buy the wine. I let people know what the wine tastes like. I let people know what it looks like. Grape varieties, the producers. It's more of exposing of wine brands to people who might not necessarily be exposed to it before. So I'll throw up a wine that is not regular. You might not find it in a normal supermarket, and I'll tell you where you can buy it. Or it could be in the supermarket, and I'll say you need to try this. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then as an influencer, is this something that you're crowned? Or are you sort of birthed into it? It's UK. Are you a royal? What is it? How are you influenced?
What was it? What color is the influence?
No. Are you a royalty? What is it? How do you get the title?
But influencer. It was someone gave it to me. I was just the guy who I was just showing people wine. And someone didn't call me an influencer, they call me a vin influencer. They're like, you should put the V in front, vin wine, vin influencer. I was like, oh, okay. So, and they're like, that's what you are now. And I was like, really? And that's someone that's in wine. I was like, that's what you are, because you're now popping up all over the place. Last year, we didn't know who you were. All of a sudden, now you're everywhere. Every event, you're there.
You are everywhere.
My reels are starting to pop up and people are starting to talk about me in their offices. And I didn't know all of this. People just came and told me that. I've heard of you before. I'm like, really? And so, okay. So it's slowly making moves, and they're like, yeah, you are this. And I just wanted to get free wine. No, I'm joking. It's a lie. I didn't just want to get
Or not, because it is real. I mean, it is, it helps with bills, right?
Yeah.
Residual income that is saved. I understand.
Yeah. But that's more. It's a joke. It's a joke. Just in case anyone's watching. Like I don't just want your free wine.
You don't mean it like that.
I'm trying to show people who are.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just I never expected to get here. Like I'm not even nowhere near where I want to be. But just being here, I'm grateful because I'm a guy that didn't even really want to do wine at the beginning. So the fact that I'm in wine and I love it, it doesn't even feel like work. So yeah.
Well, yay! Congratulations to you. Yay, Manny! Manny does wine. One last time, how can people find you on social media?
Okay, so you can add me on Instagram, Manny Does Wine. If it's TikTok, it's Manny Does Wine. If it's Twitter, it's Manny Does Wine. Everything's Manny Does Wine. MANNY. Yeah. Like I does wine.
And he does wine, y'all.
Yeah. So MANNY. No, not many. Manny. MANNY.
Manny Fresh. He is Manny with the wine.
There we go. You get me? Short for my real name. But yeah.
And we're not saying that out loud because we don't do government names.
Yeah, we don't do government names out here. You get me? Don't do that.
Well, Manny, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll be seeing you next month in London. So
yeah. You better holler at me. If I find that you come to London and you ain't said nothing, I'll just be like, you know what, that's it.
I'm not that kind of person. I'm here for all of the liquor. I'm just not going to drink everything like last time because I can't.
What happened last time? Okay, that's a whole nother story we can talk about later. Yeah.
I'm an adult now. I can't do those things. Need to know, need descriptions, need to know what it is. But so thankful for you. Thank you. And next week we have our final Black History Month guest. So excited about that. And he is a champagne specialist. So
okay.
Right, so you gotta join that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in for that. What? Champagne? Yes.
Right. We sip the champagne like we get paid, like on a Thursday, right? So excited about that. But thank you guys so much, and thank you, Manny. And don't forget to follow him if you're not following him already. And thank you guys so much for joining.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Manny.
How do I come out of this?